Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining me. I am your host, Mike Downer. I am here with Ryan Johnson. Thanks for joining us at Right at Home, the homeowner's inside guide to getting it done right the first time. How are we doing today, Ryan?
We're doing great, Mike. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. So this one I'm kind of curious about. This one's very interesting to me, being a homeowner. And today we're just going to be kind of covering what roofing myths do Iowa homeowners still believe. So let's just kind of jump right into this, Ryan. So what are the most common roofing misconceptions that lead homeowners to make bad decisions? What are some of the myths out there?
So I'll kind of get right into these, but after 29 years at Right Roofing in Des Moines, these are the myths I still hear from homeowners pretty much every single week. Myth one leak means you need a whole new roof. The truth is, often a targeted repair is sufficient in all that you may need. Maintenance is kind of neglected over time. People don't think about it. So you get to about the 10 to 15 year range, and that's when maybe a leak pops up and people are just kind of trained to think that, hey, I need a new roof.
Yep.
That would be number one. Number two, all roofers use the same products and methods. Truth is, installation and quality varies enormously. There's a plethora of laborers out there right now. Hailstorm comes and everybody's a roofer. Installation is everything. Quality and devil's in the details. Another huge myth that Right Roofing fights all the time is that the shingle brand matters more than anything. Truth is, again, installation and technique matters more.
Really?
For sure. I have seen some roofs with terrible manufacturer issues on them, but with a perfect install, that customer had zero problems. No damaged plywood, no interior damage or anything, with a roof that's just absolutely, completely failed. But because that install was spot on and perfect, no issues. So shingle brand is less of an issue than it ever has been. Let's see, myth number 4. If it's not leaking, it's fine. Well, the truth is, by the time it leaks, damage has been building for months, possibly years. So just because you don't have any leaks right now or you see them, I've had customers that I ask them if there's leaks, and then when I get inside their house, I see brown spots all over the place. Yep, that's been leaking for a while. Brown spot means on your ceiling means there's a moisture issue. Yeah. Let's see here. Number 5, storm damage is always obvious. The truth is, hail damage is often invisible from the ground. If you have a guy walking by your house and he glances up at your roof and says you have hail damage, I think I've seen hail damage from the ground on a roof maybe one time in history, but it was like softball size hail. So it was like an epic type storm up in Eldora, Iowa. And that was the only time I was able to see, yep, your roof is smoked without actually getting on the roof.
After over 20 years, one time.
Yeah, almost 3 decades, and that's been one time. I think we're on number 6.
Yes.
Myth, insurance will automatically cover everything. And the truth is, the coverage depends on cause, age, documentation, policies, all sorts of different factors. So especially with insurance companies have been a little bit different here the last 3 or 4 years. They're getting a lot stickier. I'm sure we've all noticed that insurance rates have increased dramatically over the last 5 years. They're kind of fighting against storm chasers, just to be quite honest.
Yep.
The last myth is that gutters and siding are separate from the roofing. And the truth is, they're all part of one exterior system on your home. It's an envelope of your home. If that system is not speaking and talking and working well with others around it, that is typically where all your problems come from. So just a new roof may not solve all your issues.
Perfect. So, I know we were talking about leaks, and I know that's kind of a big indicator, but in your opinion, since leaks seem to be what everybody associates with getting a new roof, what is one of the biggest myths homeowners believe about roof leaks?
Well, that if you have a roof leak, that you need a new roof, right? Not necessarily true, right? You need to look at the envelope, and everything is going to show its head as a roof leak, right? If it's leaking, everybody think it's the roof. I would say it's a 50-50 type deal. Yes, it could be a roof, but usually it's going to be that transition area between your walls, between a window above the roof line. Could be your gutter is not working properly. You know, a lot of times people will call us for a roof leak and they just have a clogged gutter. You know, clean out your
Oh,
gutter,
wow.
you know. But they're always automatically going to blame the roofer, which,
Of course.
you know, go ahead and blame us because we're looking at everything, right?
Yep.
So that's totally fine because we're going to look beyond just that roofing system to find what that leak is.
Yep. Oh, that makes complete sense. I think I already know the answer to this question, but maybe you can get into a little bit in depth on this one. And so I'm assuming I know it, but do all roofing contractors really install roofs the same way?
Absolutely not.
Give me some examples.
um, you know, it could be as simple as, you know, your the nailing pattern, right?
Okay.
Or the depth of nails not being installed properly. Sometimes those half-driven nails cause a lot of issues, and they do not cause issues until about 7 to 10 years. So if you get a half-driven nail, it's not quite flush on the top of that shingle. That's a pretty big one that we get. So with the pneumatic nailers that everybody uses nowadays, you lose a little pressure on it. Some of those nails aren't getting sunk like they need to. And then they start working themselves out over time. That's a pretty big cause of a leak. Laying down shingles on the field of a roof is really simple. It's kind of hard to screw up, but if they're not tying into and or replacing that flashing properly for you, that's always where the leaks are going to come. You know, chimneys, return walls, wall flashing, even as simple as plumbing stacks, plumbing boots, any penetration through the roof. If you're not going around those properly and taking the proper amount of time and detail in those areas, those are going to be a problem for you. They might not show up right away, but within that first few years here, you're going to see it. And the problem is what's easy for roofers is that most of these leaks don't show up right away. You know, they may leak right away, but you might not see it for a few years. Some of it could be a directional rain. A lot of times it needs to soak through your insulation. Then when it soaks through your insulation, it needs to get through the drywall. It takes
Yep.
a continual amount of moisture before you're ever going to notice that that's actually a problem for you.
So yeah, stuff that even could be a problem from day one, you won't know about for quite a while.
Exactly.
Makes sense. So we touched on this briefly, but I'm going to get you a little more in depth on this one because you were kind of chomping at the bit on this one. Does choosing the best shingle guarantee the best roof?
Yeah, this is one of the biggest myths out there that, oh, we put this shingle on our house. I've seen super expensive products being installed. Again, you're going to run into, you know, your more expensive products are going to be a little bit more persnickety, you know, to install. right? So the crews aren't going to see these types of products as often, right? So you can have a super expensive product. I just put the most bulletproof metal roof on my house here. I should never have a problem. We actually have one of those right now. And the guy called us about 2 years ago, and he got a good deal, wanted to save money on this bulletproof roofing system, but they didn't take any time on the details. They didn't take any time on the wall flashing. So our cost to go back there and pull apart all those areas gets really expensive really fast. So I think on this particular roof, it was like a 6-figure plus roof, right? Well, he was trying to save a little money. So we hired whoever to install this roof. It's been leaking. It's been leaking ever since it's done. Now the roofer came back and their solution was flashing in a tube, which is caulking, right? And everything is now caulked in like crazy, right? Well, if you're caulking it and we see 7 different colors of caulking, we know there's much bigger issues there, and caulking isn't going to fix it, right? So now we have to go back. We have to tear off the roofing in those areas, and we have to tear off all the siding in those areas to make sure that we can get the proper flashing and that transition area correct. So I believe that repair was probably about 30% of the cost of what he spent to do that roof. So I always say price is what you pay now and cost is what you pay later.
Yep.
He's paying the cost on it. So he's going to pay the exact same amount, right? But except he's spreading it out over the next 5 years, and now everything's not going to look as well. And plus he's had 5 years easy of headaches that are continually going on.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that definitely, that was a great example. I love that. So now, does it necessarily mean that a roof is still in good shape, even if it isn't leaking?
Not necessarily. I mean, that's going to be your first telltale sign, but you can't really tell much unless you have a ton of experience about those leaks or that unforeseen stuff. So you could leak for a long time, and it could be leaking in an area that's maybe not over a drywall area.
Right.
It could be leaking into something else in the attic or an attic space or the garage, because nobody thinks about, the brown spots on your ceiling in the garage. It's normal. It's the garage. Who cares about it? You might not even see it. Plenty of times I've been on roofs before and couldn't really find a leak. They said they didn't have any leaks, but then we're pulling out and we're replacing a bunch of not just OSB and sheathing, but framing work as well.
Oh, wow.
So it goes right down to the bare bones of it. For whatever reasons, it's just not rearing its ugly head. It's kind of like you got a leaky sink. Unless you look under the cabinet there, you're never going to actually know it, that it's just rotted out the bottom side of your cabinet.
Yep.
It can be the same kind of deal. I have daughters, and they have like a leaky sink in the basement. And if they don't tell me about it, I don't think I have any problems.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense. So, I know we've touched on all these things briefly, but I'm going to let you expand on them because I kind of shortened you up here a little bit earlier. But can storm damage still exist even if your roof looks fine from the ground? I'm going to kind of let you expand on that one because you had some ideas on that you wanted to share. I know you did.
Yeah, it's tough. It's definitely tough to see from the ground. It's rarely going to happen. Let's say a storm chaser walks by your house and he's like, "Oh, you have hail damage," and you're like, "Okay, prove it." Right? I've never seen a roof that had hail damage that didn't have other signs of hail damage around the home. Right? So like hostas, I always like to look for hostas. They'll be shredded if you're in there right after a storm. You're going to see it on your landscaping even. You're going to see it on any soft metal detail around the house. When we're assessing for hail damage, we don't just pop up on your roof, right? We're walking around your house. There's going to be other signs of it other than just on the roof. If you as a homeowner, this is easy to look for. It's going to look like somebody threw golf balls at it. You're going to see them on the screens of your house. You're going to see them on the gutters and the downspouts, any aluminum fascia or any metal cladding. So a lot of times you're going to see it on your garage doors, are going to show it. You're going to see signs of hail damage. It's not just going to be the roof. I've never replaced just a roof after a hailstorm. There's always other parts of that home that are going to be damaged from that. You can even see it if you have painted siding. You're going to see it chipped out. You're going to see it on your deck. You're going to see like somebody just threw 1,000 little tiny golf balls at your deck at a high velocity. You know, you're going to see it. So if you're not seeing any of those things and somebody tells you they have hail damage, you don't have to get on the roof to see it. They should easily be able to show you that hail damage from the ground with ever getting on your roof.
That makes
so
sense.
the shingles are pretty durable, right? Even your basic level of shingles are pretty durable. I mean, it takes quite a bit to actually damage those. And it typically takes about 1.5 inches is about the size of a golf ball before it actually starts doing any damage.
Perfect. So when it comes to, you realize that, yeah, I probably have some damage. And they call Right Roofing and you say, yeah, we're going to need to do some work. Will homeowners insurance always pay for roof damage?
It's so different nowadays, right? 5, 6, 7 years ago, the adjusters maybe aren't super trained. A lot of this is going to come down to your policy and what you have as a homeowner. So just because you have insurance doesn't mean that, hey, I pay my $500 deductible and I'm going to get a new roof, right? We're seeing deductibles that are much higher right now. Most people do not pay attention to that until there's an actual claim. So before you turn in a claim, you're going to probably want to look at your insurance paperwork, maybe call your agent, see what your deductibles are. And then they also have something called an actual cash value policy. So if your roof is 50%, let's say it's 12, 13 years old, they're going to depreciate that, meaning, hey, your roof is you've already used half the life of your roof. So now you're going to pay your deductible. Let's say most deductibles we're seeing now are about $2,500.
Oh, wow.
And then they're going to take 50% of the value of what it actually, say you have a $20,000 roof, right? So now I got it. Well, they took $10,000 right away because you already got $10,000 of life off that roof. And then you're going to pay your deductible. So you very well could be, you got a $20,000 roof that you need, and you're going to get a check for about $7,500.
Ouch.
Yep.
That's something to be aware of, though.
Yep.
Everybody go home, check your policies.
Yep.
So, all right. So we've been talking about all the myths and misconceptions. Let's kind of wind this up with your big one. I know this is near and dear to your heart because I know that you do more than just roofs at Right Roofing. You understand this better than probably any other company in the Des Moines area. How are your roof, gutters, and siding more connected than most people realize?
So here's what Right Roofing wants every Iowa homeowner to understand. Like you said, the roof, the gutters, the siding, and the ventilation, they are all one connected system. They need to be communicating well with each other for them to keep you dry and without any issues. That's the biggest thing. It's not just a roof. You need to look at everything. You might not have to replace your gutters. You might not have to replace your siding. Your ventilation may be fine. But if they're not all working together in conjunction with each other, those problems tend to rear their ugly head years later. We just had a house that we did, and it was probably built in about 2008. We just replaced the roof on it. So after talking with the homeowner, they're like, man, it is hot in this room. Our upstairs is ridiculous. And then we have this little area over here that's always like 15 degrees hotter than anything else. What we found out as we started looking around the house, all their soffit was all starting to sag, right? They didn't have any soffit vents. They had no intake ventilation for their roofing system. They had exhaust, so the roofing part was taken care of. They had no intake. Their house was not breathing for 15 years.
Oh,
right?
wow.
So now all of a sudden they got more siding repairs they have to deal with. It's a pretty simple fix. We had to install about 20 soffit vents that cost about $1.75 each. So you're talking about under $40. And just I'm curious to see, we just did this roof to see, is those utility bills going to come down during the summertime?
I bet you they will.
I absolutely bet they will. I'll be able to keep an eye on it because they don't live too far from me. So I'll be asking them here at the as it gets really hot. Hey, is there a little improvement there? Because your house is actually breathing now.
That makes
And
sense.
that's why we always do an attic inspection. That's that next level. While we're doing the roof, we jump down in your attic, make sure the stuff that needs to be vented out is vented out. We check in your intake. We're checking your exhaust. We're making sure that you have a healthy system there. That's the key factor. And I want everybody to know that it's all connected.
Perfect. All right. Well, our own little episode of Mythbusters here today, right?
That's right.
So you've answered a lot of questions for us. Giving a lot of people a lot of things to think about, probably giving some people a little bit of peace of mind too.
Yeah.
So the nice part about it is we all know that next time you even think you have a roof problem, just give Ryan a call. He'll help you out. He's an honest guy. He'll do it the right way the first time. So
that's right.
Hey, I just wanted to thank you again for joining me. I always learn a lot from you, Ryan. I love our talks. I look forward to the next time we get together.
Thanks, Mike. See you soon.
Hey, thank you. Take care.
You bet. Bye-bye.